Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. You know, nothing tells me how stale the writing in the video game industry is more than that there is no video game now about the UAPs or the new UFOs. Now, I find this story very interesting. You know, I was a big fan of the X-Files when it came out, especially those first two seasons, man. What a great game you can make with everything that's been revealed here through the public hearings, you know, the things that we've seen on tape and what have you. I find it particularly interesting because I work in the aerospace defense industry, right? So I can give you a different perspective. You're somebody that works in the industry, and nothing that I'm going to talk about is classified, right? Everything that I'm going to tell you is publicly available information. Now, as far as, you know, for those of you who know, you know, Little Caesar works in the aerospace defense industry, right? I've been working for defense contractors, government contractors now here for the last 16 years. Everything that I've ever worked on works on our traditional propulsion systems, right? We're talking about you're burning fuel and it shoots you forward, right? That's what I've been working. Nothing. That's the only technology that I've ever worked on. And I've worked on, you know, helicopters. I worked on airplanes. I worked on missiles. You know, I worked on classified projects, and I can tell you, never have I ever worked on anything that's anti-gravity, or heard of it, or my colleagues, nothing, okay? Never smelled a whiff of it. I've never worked on any craft that can do the things that these things are able to do, right? Now, the U.S. famously, this is publicly available information, right? I'm not telling you anything that you shouldn't know or haven't read about, did have a hypersonic drone program. But what ends up happening at those speeds, you know, when you start reaching the over Mach 10, Mach 15, these vehicles become very hard to maneuver. They become very hard to maneuver, and the drags that are imposed on the vehicle, you know, by turning even a little bit, sends them out of control. So we're not there yet with that technology. We're barely going back now as we're seeing what's going on in our skies. You know, from everything that you hear, that you've heard at the hearings, I don't know how a writer can't get inspired by this. This is what we've heard at the readings from the hearings, right? We've heard that they've recovered biologicals. What the hell does that mean? Biologicals, right? We've seen the craft. We've seen them being monitored through at least 3 different mediums. We have them on camera, we have them on infrared, we have them on radar. And, you know, as well as eyewitness testimony. So this is just not people, you know, the countryside saying, "Oh, I saw it." No, this is documented by our armed forces. The scariest thought here that nobody's writing about is that whoever these beings are, or whatever the hell this is, they could burn this whole place down if they wanted to, and there's not a damn thing we can do about it. And I'm paraphrasing Batman here when he was talking about Superman. To many people, if these things have been around for a while, you know, to our ancestors, if they saw anything like this, it would look like magic. You know, and it's clearly some form of anti-gravity, interdimensional, maybe, according to the hearings. We don't know, right? If I had to guess, as a person in the industry, is that they're folding space. That would be the only conclusion I can come up with, right? That they have some sort of anti-gravity propulsion system. But to do the things that they're doing, we would have to have the energy equivalent to planets for some of the things that we're recording in our airspace. It is absolutely nuts. Nuclear power couldn't do it. Like, we can say, "Oh, these things are nuclear powered," and that's how they know. No. These things are transmedium. I've worked on things that only go through the air. These things go through air, through water, and to space. They could be at, you know, under the ocean and shoot straight up into orbit. Those are technologies, as far as I know, as far as the world knows, nobody possesses. And how come these stories aren't being written into video games? That's just a question. Right? That's how mediocre, that's how bad the writing has gotten into video games. What do we get now? We get, more Call of Duty clones. We get more Fortnite clones. We get more clones of whatever is making money, right? But as an industry, the video game industry has stopped taking chances. The indie game developers do it, but of course they have much less resources than they do. So the stories they can tell, they're not as good because they don't have the money, right? But what a great story you could tell about these craft, about what they do. And you can tell it from the perspective of investigators like the X-Files, man. Those first 2 seasons, those first 3 seasons, man, and they had me going, let me tell you. They should bring that back, in some form or another, especially with all this revelation. Come on. But there could be different games that you can make. You can make it, about following the Tic Tac around or the Topside one. There's many layers to this story that haven't even touched on. I mean, I'm just going superficial on this stuff, what most people know. There's levels to this stuff that if a writer really dug deep, could come up with some great, interesting stories to tell. Oh, man. But the state of the video game industry now is just nuts. When I think about it, right? When I think about it in perspective of the era that I grew up in, in the 1980s, if this story would have broken then, there wouldn't be another story. That's all we'd be talking about. But this is today. People are more interested in their TikToks, right? In their social media, internet drama, whatever it is, celebrities. They're more interested in that than this. This could pose an existential crisis for humanity. Nobody cares. Maybe that's why they're not writing about it, right? Because nobody gives a shit, right? We have what could be aliens running around the planet, disabling our guidance systems, our reconnaissance systems. There isn't anything we can do about it. They can blow the whole place up if they wanted to, and nobody cares. Maybe that's the answer. Oh, wow. Maybe that's why they don't talk to us either. They just don't find us that smart. All right, humans, I will catch you on the next one. Take care.